So if you don't know by now, there's been a lawsuit that was started last year between regarding the American Nightmare moniker, the name, between Cody Rhodes and a punk rock bandmate who has the original rights for the Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare brand. So it's been going on for a year, but as of recent, they have announced that between WWE, Cody Rhodes, and Fanatics have made a settlement agreement to the original owner. So before we get to that point, I'm just gonna go through all this. I am actually gonna do something, and I swear to God, he better watch this, at least this part of the video in the future. And if he doesn't, I'm not gonna crash out. But Henry Resilient should watch this one because I have the court docs and I'm going through them. This is going to be the longest one, guys, so if you better go for a piss break before I do this. Anyway, so let's start it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final one, the final story for the tea drop. Why did I call it the tea drop? Because it's like an elbow drop with tea. So anyway, we're going to break down this story and we're going to dive into it on this recent trademark, music, merchandise, and identity all together on WWE's biggest modern stars, Cody Rhodes, or real name Cody Runnels, the American Nightmare, son of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and brother of Goldust. Anyway, you know Cody's story. You know the legacy, you know the comeback, the main event run, the WrestleMania moment. But what you may not know is that behind the scenes, a complicated legal dispute has been brewing for a few years now between Cody Rhodes, WWE, Fanatics who runs the merch portion of WWE, and a musician named Wesley Eisold, the frontman of the influential hardcore band name American Nightmare. Yes. The situation touches on and guys, I'm going to talk about this. I'm not a real lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not doxing myself, but I'm not a lawyer in real life. So I am reading based on what I understand in the court docs, what I understand from post wrestling, a article from Post Wrestling. So I'm going to do my best to explain it. If I don't do a good job, it is what it is. Oh, what was his last name? Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is not his real name. His real name is Cody Runnels. Dusty Rhodes is Dusty Runnels? Is his real name Dusty Runnels? His real name is Virgil Rouse Runnels Jr. That is Dusty Rhodes' real name. They are the Runnels family. Runnels. No, I didn't say Reynolds. Sorry. I have a bad duty of saying things correctly, so I apologize if I don't pronounce it right. So, back to the story. So it touches intellectual property, contract agreement, merchant disputes, and the delicate dance between artistic identity and legal ownership. And now, as of this week, it has been quietly come to an end with the courts being notified that a settlement has been reached. I'm going to talk about through the entire story of this, the whole who is Wesley Eisold, because I don't know if many people know who he is if you're involved in the wrestling community, or maybe you do. Why American Nightmare is such an important trademark, how the dispute began, why the case escalated, what the lawsuit claimed, and what WWE and Fanatics argued in return, the confusion around the merchant in stores like Hot Topic, and finally, what the settlement means for Cody and for the future. So, although the last, like how the settlement is happening, we won't know until a couple of days, but there are potential ways that this can go. So let's begin with the beginning. To understand why this lawsuit, and by the way, if you haven't noticed by now, the guy to my left of this video is Cody Rhodes, and the guy to the right is Wesley Eisold, the front man for hard punk band American Nightmare. So, just in case, To understand why the lawsuit happened, we first need to understand Wesley Eisold, a musician, writer, figure in the hardcore punk and underground music genre. Eisold co-founded the hardcore band American Nightmare back in 1999. The band never reached mainstream recognition the way a Blink-182 or Green Day did, but they didn't need to. They were influential, they were respected accordingly, apparently. They had a loyal base of tens of thousands of dedicated fans, underground-wise. They weren't commercial, but they mattered to that genre. They influenced, shaped a wave of hardcore bands, apparently, and Eisold built an identity around the American Nightmare name. He extended that influence into another project, another group called Cold Cave, which he has built a cult following for. And most importantly, Eisold officially trademarked American Nightmare on November 29, 2016. That's a legal fact on record. So, I'm going to stop showing these guys because... Alright. Nope. Let's go. Oh, did I not push it? I have to pull it up, right? I have to pull you up. There you go. Ah, look at that. I am cool because I have court docs. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, this is the court docs that Wesley Eisold, as the plaintiff, have released towards the Cody Rhodes and WWE and Fanatics. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to scroll all the way down without my computer freezing, though. There's, oh wow, that's crazy. There's a section called Facts, which I thought was hilarious. I don't know how to read court docs, so if someone laughs at me over this, it's okay. Okay, maybe I should. Why is my computer going crazy? You know, I did all this, and it's still giving me crap. Let's go. Is this the section? No, jurisdiction. There is a section called Facts. I did not know that was such a thing in a court case document. And I thought that was interesting. So here we go. Oh, no, those are the counts. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I thought. Here we go. Facts. Look at that. Facts. So here's the first fact that basically what my document was covering. Let me untab this. So facts. In 1999, a musician, Wesley Eisold, co-founded American Nightmare and quickly became a punk rock band. So when I mean these are facts stated by Wesley Eisold. It doesn't mean it has been proven as a fact. This is obviously a fact. But there are some things down later on that it's kind of ridiculous. But, or at least to me it's ridiculous. I'm sure to him it isn't. So anyway, this is a legal fact on record about American Nightmare being trademarked in 2016 by this man. Without my computer freezing, can you show me that section, please? Ooh. I don't know why it does that. Anyway, I'm going to keep going while that thing decides to load. So when Cody Rhodes later began using the American Nightmare as his wrestling identity, we were already on a collision course, whether either party realized it or not. So if, from a brief, we're going to switch to Cody. In 2016, Cody Rhodes left WWE. The departure led to his reinvention, his independent run that some of us know, and his time in Ring of Honor, New Japan, and of course, the rise of AEW. So I'm going to play, while this thing decides to reload its life, I'm going to play this video. And maybe I'll figure out in the background why this thing sucks. Oops. Oops.
Shouldn't have come as a surprise that on May 21st, another ceiling. Something which was evident in the fact that after this program was over, he'd mill around in the mid-card, forming the Cosmic Wasteland with the Ascension, and losing to the likes of Apollo Crews and Zack Ryder on TV. So in hindsight, it really shouldn't have come as a surprise that on May 21st, 2016, Rhodes announced that both he and his wife Brandy had asked for his release from the company, something which would be granted the following day. Why was he leaving specifically? Well, as expected, Cody would cite frustrations with his position on the card as his main reason for leaving. So now going by the moniker of the American Nightmare, a play on his father's American
Fair
Dream
use.
nickname, he quickly started working on the indie circuit, something he had never gotten a chance to do before now. And here, the young Rhodes proved his motto, do the work, was more than just empty words, as he filled up his diary with every date he could take, wrestling.
So yeah, he was truly a workhorse when it came to, after he left WWE, he was trying to prove himself. He was trying to not run by through his father's name. And understand, he left WWE after his father died. So not only did he leave because he was frustrated with what he was doing, he was also very upset how his father died, and his father wasn't able to see him go his full potential, which is obviously becomes a story that he uses when he comes back in WrestleMania 40.
The likes of Zack Sabre Jr. and Chris Hero in Evolve, and taking on performers like Eddie Edwards and Mike Bennett in TNA, all while also becoming a regular member of the Ring of Honor and New Japan rosters. And it was here that he'd first meet the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, with him quickly being invited into their inner circle as he joined the Bullet Club. This particular corner of the Bullet Club was, of course, by now something of a splinter group, though, referring to themselves as the Elite. And the Elite, whose numbers also included the likes of Hangman Adam Page, were becoming something of an online sensation thanks to their YouTube series, Being the Elite.
Anyway, that's enough. Let me... don't make him a super villain, but more like a Rockstar Persona evolution. Well, because you guys miss Stardust. That wholesome moment when Stardust and Gosa got that cosmic key or whatever they call tag titles. Yeah. Ryusuke also never went indies when he started, so he meant to build his career. Alright. So I'm gonna hopefully be able to do this court doc again. Maybe I can. Nope. I don't know why it's giving me garbage issues, but it is what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna X that out. I don't know how. Can you flatten a freaking PDF? Maybe that's what I need to do. Anyway, it's probably the OBS. I'm gonna blame it on OBS. I'm not gonna blame it on me. Maybe I just do the full sheet. See, guys, here's a lesson. Even if you're prepared, that doesn't mean you're really prepared. So, it's still doing that bullshit. See? Anyway, I pretty much took some stuff from this court doc into my reading and my notes, so hopefully it'll be good enough. So, where was I? To understand. So, Cody's version in 2016. Yeah, he writes, and during the reinvention, he started calling himself the American Nightmare, as you saw, a play of his father's Dusty's nickname, the American Dream. That was always his original intent. It was, as far as we know, it was never to copy another band, as far as we know. Cody's version was edgier, darker, tattoos, skulls, black and gold branding, a reinvention of a classic, but with a much sharper edge. And we're gonna I'm gonna show you the exhibits in this court doc that shows what the American Nightmare band is saying that he's copyright infringing through his stuff. And we'll see if it matches based on what they agree to. But here's the issue. Cody began using the name after Eisold had already trademarked it for musical purposes and entertainment purposes. So in 2019, Cody did attempt to trademark the American Nightmare for entertainment services, wrestling, merchandise, branding, which Eisold opposed to it. This is important. Eisold wasn't trying to steal anything from Cody. He was simply protecting the trademark he already legally owned. Both sides entered into a legal binding agreement in March 2021 to avoid a court battle, which was interesting because March 2021, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not right, whatever the statement is, isn't that WrestleMania 38? March 2021, that is WrestleMania 8, as far as no, that's 2022. My bad. So it was a year before Cody decided to leave towards WWE. So we're still a year out. But I guess when he started doing this stuff, he was trying to use it more towards AEW. But anyway. Both sides enter a legal agreement in March 2029. Cody could use the name, but there were conditions to their agreement. And this is where things eventually unraveled in the years to come. But let's go to what their 2021 agreement was. In 2021, in March 2021, Cody Rhodes and Wesley Eisold struck an agreement to coexist. To coexist. That is hilarious. Oh my god. I wish this document didn't suck. I'm going to have to take more lessons from people later. Okay. Anyway. These are the terms that they agreed to. Cody could use the American Nightmare name only if his full name, Cody Rhodes, was included with this American Nightmare moniker. That's why when he gets announced, he is called the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. That's the reason. So now you know. Or in AEW, they call him the American Nightmare Cody because he didn't have rights to the Rhodes name until WWE gave it back to him when he came back by WrestleMania 38. So, or he uses the American Nightmare with his likeness, which means, I guess, a picture. His full name, Cody Rhodes, needs to be included, or his face, his skull logo, or other wrestling-related imagery apparently appear prominently. What does prominently mean? It wasn't vague. It had rules to what he means. These items need to be prominently showed with the American Nightmare logo. In his agreement, according to the court doc, the agreement legally required that Cody's wrestling-related imagery be at least 75% larger than the American Nightmare text. Why? Because Eisold needed fans to clearly differentiate between American Nightmare the band and the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. This wasn't a petty rule. This was designed to avoid to what he believed would become a consumer confusion, a cornerstone, obviously, of trademark law. Because you don't want, as a band, you don't want your fans to buy, by mistake, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes merch. You want them to buy your merch. And the only way you can do that is to make clear distinctions of what makes Cody Rhodes, what makes this punk rock band. So Cody Rhodes also could use the mark for wrestling only, which he is doing so far. Not for outside ventures, not for random branding, not for projects detached from wrestling imagery. So far he's used the American Nightmare for wrestling. He's used it for his wrestling school, the Nightmare Factory. I don't think he even notes American Nightmare. He calls it the Nightmare Factory, but still. So he's only used it in wrestling. When he promotes stuff outside, which he barely, when he does acting, he goes by Cody Rhodes or Cody Ronos. So he doesn't call himself the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes in movies. So, and so this actually benefited Cody too, because at this time WWE returned the Cody Rhodes trademark back to him. So by the time eventually WrestleMania 38 showed up, and they gave him back his Cody Rhodes name, allowing him to finally use his famous wrestling name independently again. On paper, the agreement was simple, clear, clean, mutually respectful, but in practice, apparently things got messy. So this is where the dispute begins. So for a while, everything seemed fine. Cody was using the American Nightmare across AEW on his independent run, and eventually when he came back to WWE, the branding was strong, the merch was selling, the character was iconic. But according to court records, things started breaking down again in 2022. So April 15, 2022, Eisold's first warning. So this is about a few days, maybe a week and a half after WrestleMania 38. April 15, WrestleMania 38 was April 2nd and 3rd, 2022. Eisold notified Cody's legal team that certain American Nightmare merchandise appeared to violate the agreement. According to Eisold, the merch said did not include Cody's name prominently, did not include wrestling imagery at the required size, and could cause confusion with his band's name. So according to him, they didn't put his name prominently, which I think some of the other merch didn't. I'm not sure. I have to look back. I got the first shirt that Cody Rhodes released at WrestleMania 38. And I don't recall it clearly saying Cody Rhodes, but I have to look back. So when he sent that letter, Cody never responded to him. So nearly 2 years later, April 18, 2024, is that WrestleMania 41? Yes, it is a week after WrestleMania 41 when he wins the title. Fanatics started running WWE's entire merchandise operation. Every t-shirt, hoodie, hat, poster, everything moves through Fanatics for WWE. Most sports at this point do. Also, FIFA, I think NBA, NFL, so forth. Eisold warned them again. You're selling items that violates the trademark agreement. Nothing. May 21st of that same year, he finally sends him a cease and desist to Cody Rhodes. Still no response, so Eisold sends a direct cease and desist to Cody Rhodes himself. May 31st, WWE, before May 31st, they also sent a cease and desist to Fanatics. Because Fanatics they're the ones releasing all this merch, so he thought after Cody, he should go to Fanatics. So on May 31st, 2024, WWE finally responds. According to the docs, after months of silence, WWE acknowledges the dispute sent to Fanatics, but only by saying they received Eisold's complaints to Fanatics. They not admit to any wrongdoing. They simply said, we're aware. By this point, Eisold has spent years giving warnings, and from this perspective, his trademark was being disrespected. So he escalated it. On September of 2024, which was last year, and this is when everyone else found out about it, Wesley Eisold officially filed a federal lawsuit against Cody Rhodes, legal name Runnels, WWE, and Fanatics. The complaint laid out 5 counts, each carrying serious financial penalties. So if this document ever decides to show face properly, maybe I need to, give me a sec. If I move it away from here, there you go. I don't know why it's doing, oh, does it, nope. Is it because I highlighted so much text? So much documents. Give me a sec, maybe I have to close out and reopen it. If I reopen it, maybe it'll load properly. Okay. We're golden now. There we go. Yes. Here we go, guys. So yes, he filed it against, I'm gonna trim this back. Whoops. Give me a sec. There we go. I apologize for this, but we're going to keep going. So yeah, Wesley Eisold to Fanatics. Oh no. No, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. It froze on me. Why is it doing this? A drawing error occur? Who cares? Are you serious? Do I need to separate this? Maybe I have too much data, guys. I have too many tabs open. Maybe that's what's happening. Give me a sec. This is nasty. I need more RAM, guys. There we go. It's going to say it has an error again. But yeah, so I'm going to go. So let's run through this before my computer decides. So he's saying the breach of contract. Why is the lead singer? And you can tell by the way he's writing this. He gave this information. This is purely written on Wesley Eisold. Oh my god, it crashed again. I am gonna open this. There has to be another program I can open this in before I drop an elbow to this thing. Maybe I can open it in Firefox. There we go. There we go. I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys see fire, whatever. Oh my god, just maximize. There we go. Hopefully this, yeah, look at this, beautiful. Mwah. This guy seems like a crime person. Who knows he is not someone. Hey, some people know him. The musical world. Wesley Eisold is the lead singer of renowned punk rock band American Nightmare. You see how it's written? Renowned punk rock band. Renowned. He's renowned. I don't know by who. My wife's a big emo lover. I wonder if she knows about American Nightmare, the band. Maybe she'll respond. I don't know if she's watching. Eisold holds a registered trademark and pre-recorded music, clothing, apparel, and entertainment services. Entertainment services and clothing and apparel is the biggest fight here. Obviously, Cody doesn't do music under the American Nightmare. So Eisold sells counterculture style clothes and merchandise often featuring the American Nightmare logo, a logo in black and white. And this is why I highlighted red, because this is key. He sells merch that displays under his American Nightmare a logo of black and white winged angel of death, the American flag and stars and stripes behind him, or a logo stars and stripes shield with winged bats like baseball bats. He refers that in the document as the Eisold Shield logo. That is his thing. Reynolds promotes himself as the American Nightmare. Reynolds attempt to register. So this is the whole thing that he tried to register in 2019, but they made the settlement in 2019. So that's the whole story I gave you. Is there anything important? Yeah, banished with his word American Nightmare do not include Reynolds' name, his name, likeness, or initial, blah, blah, blah. So he often features a winged skull embossed with the stars and stripes, Reynolds logo. That's his. So the Reynolds logo is the skull that everyone knows with the American flag inside that skull and the crown and the wings coming out of the head. That is the Reynolds logo. So that's what he refers to it. He doesn't use any symbols close to that. But anyway. So here are the facts. 1999 for 20 years, American Nightmare. He owns the clothing. So this is when he made the trademark. So in November 29, 2016, Eisold registered the Eisold mark with the U.S. Patent Office. Eisold sells counterculture, which he describes once again what that is. And then he says, the Eisold clothes features Eisold marks. In the words American Nightmare, commonly frequently used images include a logo composed. I'm going to keep highlighting this because it hits the nail in my opinion. The logo composed of a black and white angel of death with two large white wings. Eisold's angel logo, the stars and stripes of the American flag, and logo consisting of stars and stripes, shield embossed in two baseball bats, making an X. And I'm going to, since I know now, I can open this in Firefox. I'm going to open the exhibits in Firefox. So open with Firefox, and here we go. So he is talking about this. This is the Winged American Nightmare band Winged Angel. So it's a winged angel with the American flag behind it. And then this is the shield with the two bats making an X, American Nightmare. And there's more merch. Skull. He has a skull with hair, but that doesn't mean shit. And then there's the winged angel again. And then that's another merch of his. So this is all the American Nightmare band's merch. And here's the angel of death. It has a knife to further promote. Now, we'll leave it at that and go back to the document. Okay. Eisold's logo, blah, 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 2000 pictures. Okay. He states, and this one's funny. He states Hot Topics is one of his biggest distributors of his merch. I don't think that's true. Or at least not anymore. Because when I checked the website today, or early, whenever I started checking all this is his website now. This is American Nightmare's merch band website and blah, blah, blah. That's all their merch. He has even a Snoopy. I wonder if he got permission for the Snoopy dog. Because that's literally the Snoopy dog. You can't say it's not. So hopefully he did. But that's not what we're here for. He's saying that on Hot Topic, he is a merch seller. So I went to the Hot Topic website. And I didn't see anything. I looked up American Nightmare. And nothing shows up. So, American Nightmare. And this what shows up. Cody Rhodes. Merch. And something called Ice 9 Kills. Which is another band not related with them. Who also use the American Nightmare moniker. Even the skull. The reason why they used it, this band had an album that was referencing horror movies, and one of the songs, one of their most famous songs, is called American Nightmare, because the album's called The Silver Scream, and one of the albums is called American Nightmare because all these songs that they do is inspiration to a horror movie, and that one's to A Nightmare on Elm Street. Hence why you see in that merch kind of a hat similar to Freddy Krueger and the nails going through, even though it should be, it's 4. So, but they didn't get a breach of contract. I see, you shop and you don't see. They're saying, they don't say it's in physical ones. They say it's online. So I search online, I don't see it. Maybe it was back in 2022 or 2021. But as of today, I only see Cody Rhodes in this American Nails, whatever. Let's go back to the court doc. So they're saying, it's one of those authorized sellers. Yeah, right. Hot Topic, for example, sells t-shirts featuring Eisold marks online. That is cap. As of today, at least. Defender Cody Rhodes is a world-famous wrestler who promotes himself as the American Nightmare. Defendant Cody Rhodes is by far more prominent of the two. So he even admits Cody Rhodes is more famous than him. But anyway. Runnels wrestles under the pseudonym Cody Rhodes and stage name The American Nightmare with the moniker in ode to the Runnels' father, Dusty Rhodes, who went by American Dream. So he at least acknowledges that. Music and clothes associated with counterculture, including punk rock, are central to Runnels, the American Nightmare persona. For example, the song Kingdom by the band Downstate, which draws heavily on punk rock and roll, plays as Runnels' walk-on song and when he triumphs over his opponents in the arena. So, he has counter-punk culture. What is so bad about that? Defendant WWE and Fanatics Holding sell Runnels merchandise on the WWE shop, Fanatics.com. They obviously sell the merch. So here's the thing. Obviously, before Fanatics even got involved, and even WWE got involved, Cody knew the stipulations or the agreement he made with this guy. Whether he clearly stated to WWE and Fanatics, hey, you can sell my merch with American Nightmare, but you got to abide by this because I have an agreement with this guy. So we don't get sued. Maybe he did and they ignored him because, WWE and Fanatics thinks they're above everyone. Or maybe Cody didn't clearly state it or didn't say it at all. I'm pretty sure, knowing how Cody goes about business, he's a very smart business guy. I'm pretty sure he told WWE. How they went about it after that, who knows? It's not clearly written here. I'm sure the reason why Cody never responded is because WWE told him not to. Because Cody is going to be smart, saying, look, potential legal thing. WWE, what do you want me to do as your employee? Employer says, do nothing or don't say nothing. If they come further, we'll deal with it. So that's probably what happened. If you guys have a typical corporate job, it'd probably be the same situation. Runnels sought to trademark the American Nightmare. Okay, we already know this. What else? Eisold Runnels settled, allowing the wrestler to use the American Nightmare on clothes so long as they prominently feature Runnels' name, his name and likeness, or substantial indicia associated with wrestling. So either show Cody Rhodes' name or show prominent images that know this is a wrestling merch. Take that for a grain of salt, because this is when it becomes, oh, well, is it or is it? It becomes a matter of opinion, in my opinion. What else is interesting in this art? Eisold has performed his obligations under settlement agreement. That's what he's stating. But this defendant sold clothes that violates the settlement agreement. Eisold received a fan inquiry in early 2022, within 1 year of the execution of the settlement, about one of Runnels' clothes, a t-shirt the defendant were selling online. So this is 2022. That is when? Early 2022. So maybe around the same time as WrestleMania 38. The shirt prominently featured the Eisold mark and a stars and stripes winged skull sprawling a crown. A tiny WWE logo is featured on the left sleeve. Runnels Crown t-shirt. A picture of the Runnels Crown t-shirt is attached as Exhibit 5. So let's go to the exhibit. Exhibit 5. Oh. What is he talking? So here's the image that they're talking about. So obviously, if you don't know, that's his dog. And there's the skull and the crown and the thing and American Nightmare. Obviously, on the shirt, I don't think there's a back. They don't show anywhere here the name Cody Rhodes. They have the American Nightmare, the WWE logo, and then they have what you know in the wrestling world is Cody Rhodes' logo with the skull and the crown. And if you know him even deeper as a fan, you would know about his dog, which is right there. Now, looking at this image, in my opinion, it's obviously, to me, and this is me coming from a wrestling fan, this image represents Cody Rhodes. The image. And it is 75% more real estate space than the text itself. But that's my opinion. And that becomes an opinion matter. So this is the image that made him start sending the cease and desist to Cody Rhodes. It was this merch. I think it was the second or third merch that came out after he returned to WWE after WrestleMania 38. This is not the shirt I have. I have another shirt that it looked like a video game. Let me see if I can find it. WWE Cody Rhodes American Nightmare video game shirt. It was a very cute shirt. It was the only merch that came out. Yeah, this one. This is the shirt I have. This came out literally on the day that Cody Rhodes showed up to face Seth Rollins. I got excited. I went to the website immediately, and this was the shirt that showed up. And I'm like, it's like Cody Rhodes knows me. I'll buy it. So obviously it says American Nightmare. You know this is Cody Rhodes because when he's not wrestling, he is in a freaking suit. It says son of a plumber, 100, whatever. There's nothing on the back. This is all that's on the shirt. This is like the first thing they printed out to get fans riled up. This doesn't look like counterculture. It doesn't look punk. If anything, to me, this looks like an 80s video game. So, this is not the one that they lawsuit, but this is actually the very first merch that they released for Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 38. Then they released other merch, which is Exhibit 5 right here. So, to me, this is 75%. And that's probably what WWE and Fanatics is telling them. Very Mario inspired. Yeah, very Mario inspired. You're right. It has the Mario. It has a chest like Zelda. It has coins. It has wrenches. It has the power up, you know? If anything, Nintendo should be suing Cody Rhodes. Let me not add another lawsuit for the poor man. But anyway, this is the exhibit that this man is talking about here. Wherever I was reading. A picture of Runnels' crown t-shirt is attached. And at this point, Eisold discovered that Runnels, WWE shop and Fanatic manufacturer, produced and distributed a sale of vast array of clothes that nakedly violated the 2021 settlement agreement. The infringing clothes, Runnels clothes, brandished the Ted's American Nightmare like the Runnels crown t-shirt. The other Runnels clothes do not feature Runnels' name, like the one I have. His name and likeness or substantial indicia associated with wrestling. So to me, if we're going to fight with this shirt, it does show something that everyone know. Yeah, Mario's a plumber too, of course. This shows Cody Rhodes. If you know Cody Rhodes from AEW and New Japan, I don't know when he started. Yeah, he started the suits in New Japan when he became a heel. And he started wearing the suits. He started wearing the smoking the cigars and whatever. And Cody, everyone knew, this is fucking Cody. This is Cody. He has a strong written document here, but it's still, you can leave it up to the opponent. Like what you're saying, it doesn't show substantial likeness. I'm like, well, define likeness. And that's probably why the court case is being settled. WWE has strong fucking lawyers. They're gonna, for their top guy, they're gonna fight to the breaches of hell to win this case if they have to. Runnels' clothes do not feature Runnels' name, blah 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 blah. Defendant knew about and were familiar with Eisold's mark and the settlement agreement when they began designing, manufacturing, and distributing. Yeah, but the problem is, what is the difference between that and this? Where's the skull? You have a skull on another shirt, but it's a skull with a punk hair. You have a skull with a drummer guy with the American flag. You don't see wings or a crown here. You got a skull with afro here. What is he mimicking besides the name, which you guys came into an agreement with? Besides, you made it a thing that you make obvious wrestling logos or indication that's Cody, or you put his name. I think they worked with it, but that's me. Defendants violated Eisold's trademark, and confusion has erupted over defendants' use of the mark on clothes. So apparently people were confused with the merch. These defendants also serve merchant, so he's confirming they WWE sell merch, including Hot Topic, the Wrestling Guy store, which they should, Chalkline, obviously, Walmart, obviously, Amazon, Target, TikTok shop. I didn't know TikTok had a shop. Hot Topic is an official distributor of the Runnels clothes and other WWE merch. As stated above, the company also officially distributes Eisold's clothes, which it doesn't. It doesn't. I feel as soon as this became a thing, WWE pushed Hot Topic to drop his work. Which is when you have to be careful, because if WWE has that power, do you really want to fight them? Anyway. I'm going to keep going until we get to the counts, and we're going to go through each count that he is trying to lawsuit on. So apparently he's saying, these are the dates I told you before when he sent the cease and desist. So here are the counts. So here are all the legal claims. Yes, he has 5 counts towards WWE, Cody Rhodes, and Fanatics. And some of them are for all 3, some of them are for certain groups. Count number 1, breach of contract. This is towards Cody Rhodes only. In this whole statement here, he pretty much argues, he does the complaint that Eisold argues that Cody violated their 2021 agreement by selling merch that did not follow the rules they agreed to. Because of that, he's seeking at least $150,000 in damages at minimum. So it could be more if the court decides so. In addition to that, he's asking for whatever fees associated with the lawyer fees to be paid also as well. Count number 2. This is towards Fanatics and WWE. Inducing breach of contract. Eisold claims WWE and Fanatics encourage or allowed Cody to break the agreement. Again, he's asking for at least $150,000 at minimum. It's not listed here, but it's listed further down in the court doc. Even though he says he has no adequate remedy of law, he is though stating he believes he needs at least $150,000 in damages plus attorney fees. Count number 3: international interference with contractual relations. That is towards WWE and Fanatics. This is probably one of the most serious allegations. He is stating in this whole statement here that he's arguing that WWE and Fanatics knowingly interfered with his trademark agreement, causing financial harm. So he is saying either Cody told WWE and Fanatics, like I said before, and they just said, don't worry about it, we'll do whatever we want, which is a sign of disrespect, or maybe Cody never said it, or whatever. But he thinks Cody did tell WWE and Fanatics, and WWE and Fanatics said, F him. So again, he's asking for $150,000 in damages and lawyer fees. Count number 4. It just gets bigger after this. Eisold, count 4 is federal trademark infringement, and this is towards all of them: Cody, WWE, and Fanatics. He is allegedly stating that Cody, WWE, and Fanatics actively infringe his trademark and profited from it. He asked for, at minimum, $300,000 in damages and $150,000 or $100,000 in treble damages, which is multiplier damages after the 300 or something. Again, I don't know details about law, but it just means more money based on how severe the damage is. Plus profit disgorgement, meaning Cody, WWE, and Fanatics could be forced to hand over profits made from this infringing merch. So if they made $2 billion out of this merch that he is blaming on this count, they need to pay him $2 billion. This could escalate the case into a multi-million-dollar territory kind of case. And the last count is California trademark infringement, a state level version of count 4. So the first one was the federal version, this one's state level. He's asking at least $150,000 in attorney fees. The same thing as count 4, but in a state level. In total, Eisold wants all counts at minimum value. The damages could exceed $900,000, not counting additional penalties through treble damages and recaptured profits. This is not a small lawsuit. This was not symbolic. This was a major legal threat to Cody's brand. So that's all those counts. So again, this is the prayer of relief, which I guess states in more detail what is Eisold hoping to get money-wise. So there you go, 150, 300 plus treble damages, and 100 in accordance with section blah, 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 which means the money back from merch. And then 150, so on and so forth. And that was it for this case, for the legal docs. So let's keep going. WWE and Fanatics filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit. Cody supported the motion. Their argument was simple. The merch doesn't comply with the merch does comply with the agreement. Their reasoning is the merch in question prominently features the Cody Skull logo, which in my opinion I agree with. If we go to Exhibit 5, if we ever get to Exhibit 5, here you go, Exhibit 5. It does. They're saying this prominently features this Cody Skull logo. The Skull logo is wrestling-related imagery. Cody has been using that logo for a while now, and therefore the 75 rule was met. He met the rule, according to WWE and Fanatics and Cody, which they all agree in. In other words, their design are legal because Cody Skull represents his wrestling identity, which is obvious. You ask anyone, you show that logo, yeah, that's an American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Eisold disagrees, saying the imagery wasn't large enough, wasn't clear enough, and still caused consumer confusion. This disagreement is the heart of the case. What counts as wrestling-related imagery? What qualifies as 75% larger? Who decides whether fans could be confused? So this is a matter, again, of subjectiveness. That's why it went to court, and this is why this wasn't the only confusion. So He thinks it's not 75%. They believe it's so. How do we measure that 75%? Do we need to take a ruler out? Who knows? Now, the merch confusion. Let's go through that. The part of the story is where things get especially messy because it isn't just about Cody Rhodes and Wesley Eisold anymore. It's about confusion in the marketplace and how multiple American Nightmare brands began blending together. Wesley Eisold argued in court that his band's merch was being overshadowed and possibly confused by WWE Fanatics distributing similar looking brand in major retailers like Hot Topic. So let's go to Hot Topic. Oh yeah, I gotta go to another screen. Hot Topic, there you go. That's not Hot Topic. There you go. So this is the merch. This one you can't wear. This is clearly saying Cody Rhodes. Look at that. Look at that. It says Cody Rhodes right there. American Nightmare is so tiny. Look at that. Boom. What else? What else I sold? See? Cody Rhodes, American Nightmare. Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes. This just has the skull. I think it says Cody Rhodes on the bottom. Look at that. It says Cody Rhodes on the bottom. His argument on this website is weak as hell. This, yes, it says American Nightmare, but the skull in Cody Rhodes, it's huge. Now I understand, because I've asked since he started releasing merch, since WrestleMania 38, when he started doing his skull ridiculously large, I kept asking, why does he keep releasing merch with logos so huge? This is why. If anyone has hatred towards all his logos being huge in his merch, that's it. That's the reason why. Anyway. But here's the twist. According to current Hot Topic listing, only Cody Rhodes merch appears under American Nightmare. Only one. They're saying no band merchandise, but there is one, which is the one I told you about. No Eisold logos, that's definite. Nothing connected to the original 1999 group. So from Eisold's point of view, this proves his concern. His own brand was being drowned out. But maybe nobody likes your merch. Cody's merchandise was dominating the keyword. His fans might assume Cody owned the trademark. Yes, that could be true, but I literally just searched through the website with you guys and showed everything that is under American Nightmare. I even searched Eisold. Nothing shows up on Hot Topic. He's not in Hot Topic anymore. They don't want him. But they don't have anything American in their logos whatsoever. I respectfully disagree. Eisold band does show. Not on this merch, but if you scroll up, his thing, I guess this is supposed to represent America. This is an American flag back here, and he's playing he's a drummer, like colonial era drummer. This is kind of American flag inspired. This is not. Again. And then American flag back here. So he has some American flags shown, but not in the way Cody Rhodes does it, or WWE for the matter. So it's clear. And here's more merch. Now here's where it becomes an issue. Yeah, he has American logo printed in the back, but his logo is prominent here and prominent here. So he has double logo on this shirt. So there's more. I think this is where the 75% rule is, because they're saying not only do we have it here, we have it all over this shirt. So that's covered. This is covered because all this, they're going to say this whole area is Cody Rhodes merch. This is just you. Now this might become an issue. Unless you add this and this logo in the middle, maybe. Again. So all the this is the exhibits he dropped in. This is not good enough. This is 75. Look at this. It's all over one leg. American Nightmare is on one side of the leg, and then the back is all over the person's ass. This is more than 75%. This is almost 80 for all I know. Look at that. The only one that's probably he has a right on is this shirt right here. What's Exhibit 7? We'll go to that. That's part of the confusion part. No, it's okay. I know it's okay if you didn't see the other stuff, but Yeah, he has it, but the whole keyword is 75% or Cody Rhodes' name. Okay, so that's why because he's getting drowned out, which is not true. He's just not on Hot Topic anymore. But this opens an ironic question, which I brought up. Why is Ice 9 Kills using American Nightmare without a lawsuit? He has Ice 9 Kills in their album. They have a song called American Nightmare for entertainment purposes. Why aren't they getting a lawsuit? I don't know. The band Ice 9 Kills released a song titled American Nightmare on their 2018 album The Silver Scream. Their merch is also sold at major retailers like Hot Topic. But Eisold did not sue them as far as I know, allegedly. Are they suing them? I don't know. Maybe they made a deal too, but why is their deal better than him and Cody? I don't know. So it's unclear, but it highlights the central problem. The phrase American Nightmare became a crowded marketplace. And whatever markets get crowded, lawsuits follow. Cody's merch wasn't the only thing causing confusion, but it was the one thing tied to the actual legal agreement. That's the difference. So for now, as this week they broke the news that they made a settlement, according to Brandon Thurston from Post Wrestling. A settlement has been reached, but we don't know. As of Tuesday of November 11th, both parties notified the court that they have resolved the dispute, completed negotiations, agreed to terms pending a written settlement agreement. They are expected to file a joint stipulation to dismiss the case within 90 days, so maybe by February, before WrestleMania. This means no trial, no jury, no courtroom drama, no long-term financial fight. The case will quietly close. But the important part is the settlement almost always means compromise. This is not a Cody 1 situation. This is not a Wesley Eisold 1 situation. This was two parties deciding it's better for both of us to end this than to drag it out. We don't know whether money was paid yet, whether new usage rules was created, whether previous infringements were forgiven, or if future merch strategies must be adjusted. But we do know this, the case is over. And Cody keeps his nickname, the brand name remains intact, WWE avoids a messy public trial, Fanatics avoid liability, Eisold likely secure clarity and respect to his trademark. Both sides walk away intact. There's Twitter drama. Well, I'll find out later. So, yeah, let's talk implications. So, before we talk about implications, so this is part of his exhibits of brand confusion. This gym guy posted on Instagram the American Nightmare logo, but the shirt says American Dream. First of all, I don't know how that happened. So someone made a fake shirt to begin with. So New Year, Gainesville. And then this guy, which ironically, I've seen this Instagram guy, I Am Oscar. He posted during WrestleMania 41 with his American Nightmare merch about, Cody winning the title, finishing the story. But he tagged, instead of the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, or Cody Rhodes, whatever his Instagram handle is, he tagged We Are American Nightmare, which is the American Nightmare band's Instagram post. So because of that, he believes it creates a brand confusion. I think that's a weak point because people tend to tag the wrong companies. What companies could do is easily remove the tag. You as the owner of the tag can remove yourself from the tag. So yes, there could be a confusion, but then both parties can resolve it politely by maybe making a public statement. Hey, We Are American Nightmare is representing the band, not the wrestler. For the wrestler, please tag Cody Rhodes American Nightmare, or whatever his handle is. But yeah, that was part of the back and forth. Anyway, let's talk implications. Cody Rhodes keeps the American Nightmare, no rebranding, no sudden name change, no American Dream 2.0 gimmick. Cody's identity is safe. Although recently, in the past year or two, he added the thing of that he's the quarterback ever since he became champ. I am the quarterback, whatever, Captain Rhodes. So that could become his second moniker besides American Dream. He's the quarterback, or he's the captain, Captain Rhodes. So don't be surprised you see that more in the future. We'll see. Two, WWE must be more careful with cross-industry trademarks. This case probably sent a message internally. They like not people using their IP. Well, it's the same thing for others. Just because they're WWE doesn't mean they can bulldoze over smaller trademark owners. So hopefully a lesson learned by WWE. 3, Fanatics will likely change the approval process for sensitive designs. Maybe. I don't know. But these are things that can happen. Expect, hopefully, for Fanatics, so they don't get into this bind again, more legal reviews, more sign-offs, more awareness of existing trademark agreements. 4, Eisold protects his core brand. He didn't lose his identity. He didn't get pushed out of his own trademark. He didn't allow confusion to expand unchecked. But I will say that this probably is going to hurt him more in the future, because although he won the case, people are salty on the internet. Not the owners. Maybe fans. I'm not one of them. But some people go too hard sometimes. Every community has toxic fandoms. So who knows what can happen when people find out more of this story. But hopefully for him, he gets what he wants and his band continues growing. 5, this sets a precedent for other artists. A musician with tens of thousands of listeners just held WWE, Fanatics, and Cody Rhodes accountable enough to force a settlement. That is actually very rare. And it's powerful, and it tells future performers, if you legally own something, WWE still has to respect it, no matter how big they are. But they settled. They probably gave him enough money so he can leave him alone. Honestly, he wanted $900,000. They probably easily dropped that $1 million. We'll drop this $1 million, but let's come into a better agreement. And you know what? They're gonna do that, and they're gonna make us pay for it. They're gonna charge tickets more. This entire case boils down to the one concept: trademark does not equate to popularity. Trademark equals to ownership. It doesn't matter that Cody is one of the biggest wrestlers in the world right now, WWE being a $1 billion company, or Fanatics being a merchandise giant. What matters is this: Wesley Eisold filed the trademark first, and legally that gives him the right that even Cody must respect, WWE must respect, and Fanatics must respect. This is why trademark exists in the world. To protect names, to protect brands, to protect identities, to protect artists, big or small. Cody's brand is global, Eisold's brand is underground, but the law protects both. This case proves it. So in conclusions, here's where we stand. A musician and a wrestler both claimed the same name. For years they coexisted peacefully. A merch dispute sparked conflict. Cease and desist letters were unanswered. A lawsuit was filed. Millions in damages were potentially on the table. WWE, Cody, and Fanatics pushed back, and ultimately both sides settle out of court. The legal battle is over for the American Nightmare, has ended with a dramatic without doing a dramatic trial, but with a quiet compromise. Cody Rhodes keeps his identity. Wesley Eisold protects his trademark. The court closed the book. And this entire saga becomes another reminder that in wrestling, just like in music, the biggest battle don't always happen in the ring. So, with that, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thank you for listening. Take care.